it's Shana from the Wednesday Warriors, and along with my other half, Kathy, I'll be making a video today in response to Misty Quack's question on BMIs, and the question is as follows. How accurate do you think scales like BMI are? Can your height and gender really determine how much you should weigh, or do you think there are other factors that should go into the decision? And if you believe they are inaccurate, then what can we do to fight for a more accurate scale, or what other sources should we use to determine our healthy weight? I know it's only supposed to be one question. They all kind of fit together. Feel free to just pick one if you need to. I'm actually just going to try to answer them all, and I'm pretty sure Kathy's going to do the same thing, because you are right, they do fit together, and it's kind of just one big question, so I'll try to make it one big answer. How accurate do you think scales like BMI are? The answer to that is they're accurate for some people, and for other people they are very inaccurate. I happen to be one of those people that the BMI has always just made sense for. It was always very indicative of whether I was at a healthy weight or an unhealthy weight, but I know plenty of people who the BMI has just served to confuse and frustrate and upset them, because there's absolutely no correlation with the category that they fall into and the reality of what sort of weight they are at. It's so simplistic to just make 5 categories of, severely underweight or anorexic, and then underweight, normal, overweight, and obese, and expect everybody to fit in this one universal calculation. It's kind of ridiculous, actually, and to not take into account any other factors. I'm surprised it's been around for so long and that so many people buy into it, because I know a lot of doctors nowadays have totally thrown out the BMI calculation and never use it. So, good question, Misty Quack. I'm impressed. Can your height and gender really determine how much you weigh, and do you think there are other factors that should go into that decision? Yes, yes, and yes. Definitely other factors that need to go into this equation. The ones that come to the top of my mind are bone density and how heavy people's bones are. Sorry. People have very different types of bone density. Some people have naturally heavy bones. I have a coworker who's part Native American, and she has really, really big bones. Like, my wrist, I could fit my hand around it. Her wrist bone is so big, she can't even get her hand around it, and she's not a fat person at all. It's just, her actual bone is just big. And, but then I've got, like, someone like my sister, whose bones are so light that she weighs so much less than other people who are her height and her age, and who even look her size. She just weighs a lot less because her bones have always been, like, bird-like, And another factor is muscle mass. The BMI does not take into account muscle mass, which is a huge factor, because you can have someone who's extremely athletic and the weight of their muscle will put them in the overweight range when they are so far from it. And muscle weighs more than fat, so if you just think about that in your head, that really makes no sense, because you could have someone who has more body fat and someone who has more muscle mass, and the person with more muscle mass is going to end up getting stuck in the overweight category as opposed to the other person. That's really like a little bit backwards. Yeah, pretty much backwards. Okay, if I believe they are inaccurate, then what can we do to fight for a more accurate scale? Simply don't use it. If the BMI isn't working for you, or if you just don't like it because it's so inaccurate for most people, ditch the BMI scale. Don't use it. Don't go to the websites where you can calculate your BMI. Because honestly, what is the BMI? Just one more number that we can use to torture ourselves and to set levels that we're trying to set goals and expectations that we shouldn't have to. And I mean, we have enough numbers in our lives that are controlling us generally. So just get rid of the BMI. You don't need it. Find a better way to find out what your goal weight is. And that's kind of your next question. What should we use to determine our healthy weight? Basically, a dietitian or a doctor. I know not everybody is able to do that. Not everybody has a dietitian or a doctor that they can get help. But I don't really know what else to tell you. I went to my dietitian this past week, and I knew I was going to be answering this question, so I asked her what sort of calculation they use to calculate our goal weights. And she said, and I know people don't like this, and this makes some people upset, so just remember, this isn't coming from me, this is coming from a professional. She said that they start out with the general scale that a grown woman at 5 feet should be about 100 pounds, and for every inch over that is an added 5 pounds. So as soon as she said that, I was like, but wait a second, you've given me my goal weight, and it doesn't correlate that way. So she said the reason that it didn't work out exactly is because they take into account other factors, including the muscle mass and the bone density and that thing that I said, but also other factors such as genetics. If you have to look at somebody's family and see what's in their genes. What do their parents look like? What do their siblings look like? If you look at my family, everybody's really, really thin. So chances are I'll weigh less than somebody who comes from a family where people are big boned and heavy, or if obesity runs in their family or something. That's definitely going to make a difference. And what else did she say? Yeah, you've got to take into account what the person has been like their whole life, or what the person was like before their eating disorder. Now, not everybody can do that because some people never really had a chance to develop before they got an eating disorder, but if you're one of those people who at one point in your life was at a normal weight, you have to take that into account. You can't just calculate a number based on your height and age and say this is what you should be, because no, your body knew what it should be when you were eating healthily. So you've got to take into account what were you like growing up as a kid. Were you naturally thin as a kid? Were you heavier as a kid? That plays a part in it as well. So she said that basically they start out with that calculation, and then they tweak it according to those other factors, and they'll move it up or down, and that's how you get your goal weight. So I don't know how to tell someone to do that on their own, but if you're looking for a way to find out your goal weight, then you can't ask a dietitian or another professional, then I don't know. Okay, is that everything? This is my third time making this video. You see how dedicated I am. See, the first two times I made it, no, the first time I made it, the sound broke. So when I played it back, all you could see was me talking, but you couldn't hear anything, and I figured not enough of you know how to lip read. I didn't think I could get away with that. The second time I made it, I used a digital camera, which is a bad move, because when you use digital camera, you can't see where you are. So for half the video, I'm like up there, and all I could see was my mouth. And I didn't like that. So this is my third time making it. Hope I'm making sense. So that's it. I'm really excited to see what Kathy's going to have to say about this, because she's so smart. And, oh, last thing. The reason I'm wearing a hat today, two reasons. One is that I was walking around New York City and I got snowed on all day, so my hair got all wet and crazy. And the second reason is because I was so jealous of Kathy's hats, because they're so cute and she looks so adorable. And I really wanted a hat, so I went looking in my closet and I found a zebra hat with a pom-pom on top. And I figured I'd wear it in my next video just to show solidarity with Kathy. Not really, because I just wanted to look cute too, but whatever. So happy Wednesday, everybody, and be good.